Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Jenny.
And today we're bringing you our Trope-ical Readathon TBR for the August 2021 edition.
Yep, so don't forget that if you want to share your own TBR, you can do so to enter the TBR giveaway. The last date to enter is August 8th at 11:59 p.m. Central Time.
Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago.
That's Central. Okay.
Okay, so the first trope.
Yeah, I guess we'll start off with the 13 common tropes.
Mm-hmm. So the first common trope is the absent dead parents trope. And for that, I'm reading Mr. Impossible by Maggie Stiefvater. That's how you pronounce it. That's how I've always pronounced it in my life. So. It is the sequel to, what is it called?
Call Down the Hawk.
Call Down the Hawk.
Which is, so this is the second book in the Dreamer trilogy,
Yeah.
which is a sequel trilogy to the Raven Cycle.
Yeah, so we read all of the Raven Cycle, and we read Call Down the Hawk kind of together-ish.
Yeah, we were like buddy reading it, and then we read like 80 pages about it, and we just kind of stopped for a year.
Yeah.
And then at some point picked it back up, and then both got really into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah, it was really good. It was like somehow the first 80 pages.
Despite the kind of terrible cover.
Yeah, this one is much better.
Yeah, it's much better.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm pretty sure there's not parents in it, because like Ronan doesn't have any parents in the first series, and he's kind of a main character in this.
Yeah. My choice, I don't have the physical copy. I have an audiobook of it. It's called The Vanished Birds by Simon Jimenez. Birds.
Oh, okay.
It's some sci-fi novel. I don't really know anything about it.
The next challenge is the time loop trope, and for this we're actually reading the same book.
The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton, or The 7 Deaths.
In the UK version.
In the UK version.
Yeah. They rechanged it because of the 7 husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Yeah, I think so.
And they didn't want people to get confused, but adding a half doesn't really do anything. I'm not sure why they thought that would work.
Yeah. Frankly, changing the name would have been better, but not that I actually want them to change anything. But anyways.
Yeah.
So we read another book by Stuart Turton.
The Devil and the Dark Water? In the Dark Water?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So we're excited about this one.
Yeah. It is a time loop. I think the person wakes up on the same day in a different body.
Maybe dies 7.5 times on the same day.
7.5.
I don't. Right?
What does half even mean? Okay. How do you half die?
I don't know. I don't have anywhere to put them.
Okay, the next trope is Found Family, and again, we are reading the same book for this.
One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston.
Yep, and we both read Red, White, and Royal Blue, like, I don't know, 2 years ago. I read it a long time ago, and then I convinced Rob to read it for the first Trope-ical Readathon.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's very good.
It is, yeah.
So we're excited about this one. Somehow we haven't read it yet. We only recently got it. I don't know where to put it except like
I said I was going to put it on the ground.
Standing back up.
Okay, the next trope is the coming of age trope, and for that I am reading The Fascinators by Andrew Eliopoulos. I'm not sure what this is about. I think it's about teenagers coming of age, something about magic. I think they can maybe do magic and it's frowned upon. That's as much as I know. I think
the
main character is gay.
Yeah, I think so. So it's about kind of, I think, coming of age.
Coming out story, maybe. Yeah.
In the Midwest or something. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and mine is Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulet, which is kind of like a thriller mystery or something. It's a biracial, like, Ojibwe teenager who ends up embroiled in some sort of like FBI investigation into some drug.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it seems pretty exciting, and I've heard a lot of good things, so I'm pretty excited. I love the cover too.
The next trope is food themes, and we are reading the same book for this. Our TBRs are actually very similar.
We didn't mean to do this. But, yes. Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Manansala.
I don't know this. It's about a chef, like her ex.
This is the one, yes.
Yeah, the ex falls dead in her restaurant.
Right. So
poisoned.
So it's like she's starting a restaurant, I think, and he's like a food critic. It's his ex, and maybe they like get upset at each other, and like she serves some food, and then he like dies. So then she becomes like.
Rip.
Yeah, so it's like they describe it as like a rom-com that turns into like an Agatha Christie novel. But is it set in Chicago? It's like
the author's from Chicago, but I don't know if it's set in Chicago.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, some sort of like kind of Filipino.
That's where we are. Woo.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. The next trope is Blast from the Past. I'm reading Peril at the End House by Agatha Christie. I don't own that book. I've been doing like a read along of all the Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot novels, and so that's the next one that we're reading for August. So I tried to fit it in. So I'm not actually doing the trope Blast from the Past. I'm doing the alternate prompt, which is a book published before 2000.
All right. Mine is The Removed by Brandon Hobson. So this is, it seems like it's a family that lost one of their children like a long time ago, and they're coming together for kind of a yearly barbecue for like the Cherokee National Day. And like, I think like the weird things started happening, maybe related to their past, and so that's Blast from the Past.
The next trope is mixed media. For that, I am reading Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. This is the sequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which I really enjoyed. I think you really enjoyed it also. Main character is solving another mystery in this one. I think someone disappears and they're trying to find out what happened.
I'm reading, listening to another audiobook, The Martian by Andy Weir. So I guess probably a lot of people have heard about this. There's a Matt Damon movie. But basically, yeah.
That's not the book that just came out?
No, that's Project Hail Mary.
Is it part of that series? No, it's just the same author. Oh, okay, I got super confused.
But yeah, so right, he ends up on Mars, I guess, and like the rest of the people have died. Oh no, I think everyone thinks that he's died, and they have to leave, so they leave with all the provisions.
Wait, they're living on Mars?
Yeah, like they go on Mars to like set up shop. But then like something happens and they leave, and they thought that he died, but he didn't die. He's there, left him behind, and so he has like no food, and so he starts growing food. And I think like, so it's multimedia or mixed media because it's like his journal entries or something. Mm-hmm. But I'm also listening to an audiobook, which is the alternate prompt. Mm-hmm. So that works too.
Okay, the next trope is post-apocalyptic or apocalyptic. For that one, I'm reading The Fifth Wave, which I think is post-apocalyptic. No, it is apocalyptic? What is post-apocalyptic? Okay, what's the difference?
Well, like, you could be, like, in the middle of the apocalypse. Like bad thing is currently happening and society's falling apart. Or society could have fallen apart, like, 5, 10, 20 years ago, and you're, like, living without any power.
Okay, well,
like,
I think
leftover
this takes
buildings.
place, like, kind of very close to when... I think it's about aliens. It has a movie... And I'm pretty sure it's about aliens. That's why it's called the Fifth Wave. And there's like different waves that the aliens came in, and now they're in the fifth wave.
I see. They're kind of like...
Yeah, so maybe that is current apocalypse?
Destroying our... Yeah, it kind of sounds like it. I'm reading... I have an ebook. So, The Calculating Stars by Mary Robinette Cowell. I've been wanting to read this for a while. And I guess it's... Now I don't remember. It's apocalyptic. Like I read like the first chapter at some point. It was really exciting. Like it seemed like some huge explosion had happened. Maybe it was like some asteroid hitting. I don't know. But it was. I really liked the first chapter, so I've been really wanting to read this for like a couple of years.
You have the ebook.
I have the ebook. Yeah.
Okay. The next trope is historical figure, and we are again reading the same book for that.
So The Kingdom of Back by Marie Lu.
I don't really know what it's about. I know that it's
about Wolfgang
Mozart's sister
and his sister, or like I think the main character is the sister, but it's like they had like some sort of imaginary place that they like to think about going to called the Kingdom of Back, and this is somehow about that.
I always got confused because I always imagined this was the Kingdom of Bach, but it's about like.
But it's some place that they named the place Back, or something. Mm-hmm. I think their kingdom was called Back that they made up. It's about Nannerl Mozart.
Yeah. Okay, the next trope is the all happens in one day trope. And so for that, I'm reading All Your Twisted Secrets. It sounds from the, the blurb, that it all happens in one day. They're invited to some dinner and trapped in it, and there's a bomb.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure out what the heck's happening. So it sounds like it all's happening is in one day or one night. Oh, by Diana Urban. Sorry, I forgot to say the author.
And I'm reading Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And so this, I hear from the description, it happens all like in one evening. I think mostly one evening, one night at a party in Malibu, where like they're like at the end of the night, the house was on fire or something. So it should be interesting. I haven't read any of her books.
That's
so
the
the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones.
Yeah, the band one.
Yeah.
Okay, the next trope is multiple POV. For that, I am reading Royal Holiday by Jasmine Guillory, and I flipped through this, and the chapters start off with people's names, so I assume it's multiple POV. It's about a woman who kind of piggybacks on her sister's job trip to England and falls for a private secretary for the Queen. So, romance.
Sounds good. I'm reading for this trope, Mr. Impossible, which we talked about earlier, and every single other book has had multiple POV, and so I just kind of assume that this one has, but I guess I should.
Yeah, not in the traditional sense, like it's in third person, but you know how sometimes there's the third person, different kind of points of view, where the chapters focus on different people. Yeah. Okay, the next trope is. I'm all lost. Hold on. Okay, the new kid in town trope, and we're reading the same book.
The same book, Horrid, which I don't know much about.
Who's the author?
Oh, sorry, by Katrina Leno.
Okay.
I don't know much about, but this the first line is great. She couldn't remember the first book she had eaten. So, it seems great.
Yeah, I have no idea what it's about.
Yeah, we got it in a book box, but I like that line. It should at least be entertaining writing.
Yeah. The last common prompt is the retelling trope, and we're reading the same book for that again.
The Chosen and the Beautiful by Niveau, which is a retelling of The Great Gatsby that is Sapphic and like some fantasy kind of elements, some magical elements or something. Yeah. So
we actually considered making this the fantasy team book at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we went with
She Who Became the Sun.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to our team challenges. We're on different teams, so we have different team challenges. I'm on Team Romance, so the first team challenge for that is Sports Romance. And I am reading Head Over Heels by Hannah Orenstein. I'm not sure what it's about. I know it's a romance about an ex-gymnast, I think, and that's why I counted it for sports romance, but I'm not sure what the actual plot is other than that. And then the second team challenge for Team Romance is the Second Chance Romance. And so for that, I'm reading These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet. And the blurb says that the characters who are supposed to be Romeo and Juliet had dated before, so sounds like it's going to be a second chance romance novel.
Sounds good. Alright, I'm on Team Sci-Fi, the new team that was made by breaking up sci-fi and fantasy. And so the first trope for Team Sci-Fi is climate fiction, which apparently people call cli-fi. And so I'm reading Octavia Butler's The Parable of the Sower, which, so my understanding is that it happens that there was kind of like a, maybe kind of climate-related apocalypse and some other stuff that, so this is kind of a post-apocalyptic, I think, as well.
I think climate fiction is often post-apocalyptic or apocalyptic.
Yeah, I think I read a list that was like, oh, here's like one climate fiction novel that actually isn't somehow. But yeah, I think a lot of them are. And then the second prompt is cryosleep. So kind of, somebody who's put to sleep for a long time and is reanimated. So I'm reading Goddess and the Machine by Laura Beth Johnson, and I forget exactly what the point is.
It's that she got put in a cryosleep and then she woke up in the future, but because she's from the past, they see her as some kind of god. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
And it's got stained edges. Look at that.
Yeah.
Do you see that? Ooh.
Kingdom of Bach has it too.
Oh, what?
It had silver
Pick
ones.
it up.
Okay.
Ooh.
It's a bit harder to tell because it's silver.
No, you can see the reflection.
Okay.
Okay, and then aside from the challenges, we're also reading the team books. So Team Romance, the new team book is XOXO by Axio. This is the one that I'll be reading for the, what's it called? The team book points, the 150 points for the team book, because I've already read the old team book.
Oh, which is there?
Which is, want to do this?
Oh, sure. I was going to describe.
Oh, sure, yeah, go.
Sure. Yeah, this is, it's like she falls in love with like a K-pop celebrity or something?
I know it has something to do with K-pop.
Yeah, I forget exactly what happens, but yeah, somehow it's some sort of like K-pop celebrity that forbidden romance
This
or
is the
something.
K-pop one, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's, I didn't have much to say about it. Yeah. And
Yeah,
then-
we're going through 2 different books for this. I couldn't remember which book we actually ended up choosing. And then the old team book for Team Romance is The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa. I read this, I don't know, a year or 2 ago, some point in my life.
I think you always add a year to what you think. I think it was probably a year ago.
I'm just gonna always say 1 to 2 years ago,
Mhm.
and it was fine. So I can't read it again, or I can, but I'm choosing not to. So I'm gonna read the XOXO for that team book. Okay, next team.
Team Sci-Fi. So the new book is A Song for the Wild Built. So I guess it's by Becky Chambers. So it's a book where robots it's like robots became sentient and then like decided they didn't want to do all the work for everyone, and so they like went to live.
Valid.
Yeah, right. So they went to live in like the wilderness, and every now and then they like go communicate with the humans, and I don't really know beyond that. But yeah, it looks very good. The old team book is The Marrow Thieves, which I'm currently reading. So I will be reading A Song for the Wild Build for the readathon.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one I'll read for the readathon. Maybe A Song for the Wild Bitch Built.
Wild Built. Hard to say.
For the Wild Built, just because I'm reading a lot of books for it, so the shorter one's probably easier, right? I don't know how big The Marrow Thieves is.
It's not that big,
Oh.
but it's probably not this small.
Okay.
But it is YA.
For Team Fantasy, which is the next one.
I guess you didn't say what Marrow Thieves is about. I
Oh,
don't
The
know
Marrow
if that is-
Thieves is about indigenous. It's in the future. It's a dystopia.
It's like a dystopia. Like I guess in some sense it could be cli-fi because like there's been kind of like climate, kind of apocalypse, and society's kind of fallen apart, and like kind of the Native American people can still dream, but other like the white man cannot dream anymore, and they kind of end up deciding to abduct
An experiment on.
and experiment on indigenous people, and maybe have found a way to like steal their ability to dream. And so now all of the indigenous people have to like flee, and so it's kind of meant to be kind of like a callback to the residential school system, for instance in Canada, where they kind of stole people from the First Nations.
Yeah,
so
they
kind
were
of,
just
there's a bit of
disappeared.
that.
Nobody really knew.
Yeah,
what was
so there's a
going
bit of
on.
that history in that. So it's kind of like sci-fi in the sense that like a lot of people call like dystopias and climate fiction sci-fi.
But also the dreaming thing and the scientific
Yeah.
experimentation is very.
But a lot of it is more about kind of just like a coming of age story where the main character is like a teenager living
she's a
through this.
teenager.
Yeah.
Okay, the next team is Team Fantasy. So the new book for that is She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan.
This is set in
What is this about?
like 13th century China or something like that. But yeah, I don't know very much about it. I remember like looking into it, or 1345. I remember 14th century China. They're like calling it like related to like Mulan kind of. But yeah, it's kind of set like a kind of historical fantasy fiction set in like 14th century China.
Oh, it does seem to be like she impersonates her brother or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it looked really cool. So
Yeah, a lot of people are really excited about it, so we got really excited about it.
Yeah.
And then the old book is, oh, that's not the old book. The old book is The Extraordinaries by T.J. Klune. I'm going to be reading She Who Became the Sun because I just finished reading The Extraordinaries, listening to it on audiobook actually. So this is about, it's kind of a coming of age story. It's a teenager who's obsessed with these superhero-like people called extraordinaries who have these powers and no one really understands where they come from. And it's about that, basically. I don't know what else to say without spoiling anything. But yeah, he writes like fan fiction about them and is like really obsessed with them. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't read either one, and I'm excited to read both of them, and I'm a mood reader, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, next team is Team Mystery Horror Thriller.
Yeah. The new book is The Taking of Jake Livingston by Ryan Douglas. So this is, he's like a teenager in high school at like a fancy school, I think, and they kind of describe it as like, kind of like a Get Out vibe. I think he like sees ghosts, and then like...
Yeah, he sees ghosts.
Yeah, and things kind of get like the movie Get Out, so kind of creepy.
Is it?
Yeah, I
It's
think
got a
so.
similar like picture.
Yeah, that's true, it does. But yeah, I think like things start getting really...
I think a ghost is following him around.
Oh, wait, oh my gosh. Yeah, I think it's the ghosts of a school shooter.
Oh.
Is that what this one is?
Maybe.
I think so. But yeah, it looked really cool, actually. So I'm pretty excited about that one.
Yep, and then what's the old book again?
Oh, this is one where we have two old books, because we have Murder on the Red River,
Marcy R. Rendon.
by Marcy R. Rendon, which is kind of like a detective novel. I think it's the first novel in a detective series.
Yeah, and then we found out that for some reason, I think they switched publishers.
Yeah, I think Penguin recently bought it, and
yeah,
it's going to re-release it, and so
yeah.
it's kind of hard to purchase right now. You can
Yeah,
find it
you
at the
can get
library,
the-
but it's hard to purchase.
Audiobook, I think, very easily, but the ebook and the physical book are just really weird right now trying to get them because of this whole publisher change. So we added an extra option.
Yeah, which is The Roundhouse by Louise Erdrich. Right?
Yeah.
Which I don't remember as much about because we kind of added it. I know it's like a book that won like maybe a Pulitzer Prize or something. Like it won like some major prize.
Yeah. I think it's
like something I've been wanting to read, but I don't
Yeah.
know much about it.
I think
I
it's
tend
in
to
the
not know
same
much about books, but I
genre.
want to read them.
as Murder on the Red River.
Yeah,
Like, I think it's
mystery-ish.
also a mystery thing with like indigenous rep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then the next team is Team Contemporary Literary Historical Fiction. So the new team book for that is this new one, right? One Strange Paradise by Omar El Akkad. I don't know what this is about anymore.
I think it's about like kind of the refugee crisis. I think that a child refugee washes up somewhere, and maybe they're trying to figure out like what happened, and just kind of going through that.
Yeah, if you remember watching our old TBR video, if you did, like we both forget what books are about very quickly.
We're doing much better in this one, I think.
We knew what they were about at the time and then immediately forgot.
Yeah.
Okay, old team book. The Whale Rider.
The Whale Rider
Yes.
by Witi Ihimaro.
Yep, and I think I was going to read that.
I mean, before the...
No, you were going to. I just took something out from the library.
I don't remember, one of us is going to...
I think I'm going to read that right now. And I think it's one of the books. I took out 2 of the old books from the library to read it in July. Because remember, we were planning on putting on the content and trigger warnings and all that information on our website, booktriggerwarnings.com. So yeah, I have it from the library. The hold says it's ready to pick up, so we'll probably pick that up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a shame that we didn't wait to film this, but yeah.
So it's about, like, Maori, like, young girl
Yeah, it's a YA novel.
who... Oh, man, I don't remember exactly. It's kind of like magical realism, it seemed like.
Yeah, I remember considering that we didn't know if it would count for literary fiction or if it would count for like fantasy because
Yeah.
the blurb seemed like it was magical realism, but we decided that it counted for literary fiction.
Yeah. Literary fiction can be magical realism. It's fine.
Yeah, I think often it is magical realism.
Sure.
Okay, and then the last team is Team Nonfiction Poetry. So the new team book for that is Dear Sentheron by Okweki Emesi.
This is a memoir, a Black Spirit memoir.
Yeah. Written in terms, kind of.
It's like written
in letters?
as letters to people is kind of the format that it's in, and it's about it's a memoir. So it's about Okweki Emesi's life.
Yeah.
Okweki Emesi is a trans non-binary author who's written like some really great books that you should check
You
out.
read Pet.
Yeah, Pet. Yeah, it's really great. And so kind of talking about their life and like their like identity and and stuff like that. And kind of what they've lived as a Igbo, Nigerian. But yeah, it seemed like a really kind of interesting memoir to read.
Okay, and then the ultimate book.
The ultimate book was Ink Has No Borders, or Knows No
Ink
Borders.
Knows No Borders.
Ink Knows No Borders.
And that's an anthology, so I can't name all the authors.
Yeah, it's an anthology of poems, right?
Yeah.
About kind of the immigrant experience, immigrant and refugee experience. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of a mixture of both nonfiction and poetry, because I think some of the poems are like actually about the person who wrote them, probably.
Right. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, so this is another book that we have on hold at the library that's ready to pick up, but we haven't picked it up yet. We're going to pick it up tomorrow.
I think you put the Roundhouse in order, and that's ready to get picked up also.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's part of why I'm confused. Okay.
Yep, and that is it, I think.
I think so. Yeah, I think we did it all. So, yeah, I'll try to get through like 7 or 8 of these books.
I'll try to get through all of them.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I guess like we've said, and maybe just to like reiterate, you know, you're totally free to change your TBR. I'm totally going to be changing my TBR.
He definitely is.
I just can't handle not changing it.
I usually stick to mine. Sometimes I change like 1 or 2 books, but I usually stick to mine because I can't handle choice.
Yeah, that's totally fine. You know, posting your TBR is just kind of a fun way to like share books with people. But like if you like find a new book you're excited with, or you go to read your book, you're like, you know what, I want to read this other one. Like, totally do that.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.